This is TWiT.
How did you learn all this? Like, where does one go to learn how to use Adobe Capture and do? I mean, is this just evolving over the years? How did you learn all these skills?
A lot of it is evolving over the years. A lot of it is having diverse interests. So Adobe Capture I learned about from following people like cartoonists and animators and stuff. There's so many cool people doing stuff on the internet in all kinds of different media, of course. So like I kind of soak up everything. Like there's stuff that I pull from music technology and from other kinds of stuff. I don't know. And wearable tech and whatever. So you kind of, I think, Capture I learned about from some kind of comics tutorial or something. But a lot of my skills I picked up from hacker spaces, and in particular, All Hands Active, which is aka the Aha Shop, which is sort of Ann Arbor's hackerspace. Oh yeah, and Noisebridge as well. So Noisebridge is sort of the best-known Bay Area hackerspace, and they happen to be running a fundraiser right now, if I may mention it.
Right.
Sweet. I think it's donate.noisebridge.net, but because they're having some issues with the landlord deciding not to renew the lease, and so we need to find like a permanent home, and it would be awesome if people can sort of like push and just get a few extra donations in there. That's all the like salespersoning I'm gonna do. But like hackerspaces are awesome, and that's where I learned like most of the stuff that I know about this stuff besides independent exploration. And if you just, it's sort of serendipitous. You go and work on, your bike lights or whatever. There happen to be people working on other cool stuff in the same space. You ask them what they're doing. They ask you what you're doing. Stuff happens, and just organically you learn so much cool stuff that solves problems you didn't even know that you had. It's so cool. It helps sort of maintain your momentum.
So for people who are listening who might not know what a hackerspace is, how would you best describe one?
Oh, it's like a community workshop. So they might be familiar with things like Tech Shop, which is sort of a commercial hackerspace, sort of for profit, and that will have typically like staff and people who like are employed to fix the machines. A hackerspace is sort of the community version of that was sort of around first, and that sort of arose from people having some tools and wanting to share them with other people and wanting to sort of pool their resources to get, for example, a laser cutter, a drill press, a 3D printer, things like that. And so you can go there and there's like industrial sewing machines. There's vinyl cutters for making cool stickers and stuff. I'm going to unplug his brain now because yeah, there's stuff for everyone. There's like programming classes that are often free or donation based and stuff like that. So it's sort of a self-sustaining space. Often the space itself is a sort of project that the community is doing. There's this philosophy of doocracy, which is that if you think something should happen or should be changed, then you do it. It's not like you write on the list being like, hey, someone should do this thing. And then everyone is basically just going to be like, you just volunteered. Sweet, do it. So it's very much this sort of like DIY ethos, but also do it together.
So how would you, what's the difference between a hackerspace and a makerspace?
Oh, yeah. So I think the terms are basically interchangeable. And in England, for example, you'll hear hackspace instead of hackerspace. Mm-hmm. And they're all pretty much the same thing. Like, I think hackerspace maybe was a term that was around before makerspace, and then people started saying makerspace because it's a little more inclusive. It doesn't imply that you have to be doing stuff with technology. Like there's stuff for, fabric arts and other types of visual art as well. And like food hacking, which is like, there was someone at Noisebridge for a while who was making these healthful vinegars or something. So there's lots of people who are into like fermentation, and that's not, strictly technology based, but it is something that sort of people in the same kind of community can get behind. And so I think that's where the makerspace word comes from. But I think that hackerspace was more the original term, coming from like C-Base in Berlin and stuff. Mm.